friend Jeff Mueller. Jeff, we've been friends for, well, at least we've been acquaintances. We've pretended to be friends for several years. I remember the first time I remember hanging with you was when I think you and Connie came to our house over there in Oak Creek Grade. We had some kind of meeting and you came early. And so we put you to work and you guys were chopping vegetables. The carrots were chopped way too finely. So I was always interested in what you were going to say. And there were different times you'd say something. And I would always think, okay, this is going to be good. This is going to be interesting. It might scare me a little bit. But I've always thought of you as a ridiculously honest person, but also somebody who's very, very encouraging, which is a much better combination than honest and discouraging.
Perhaps, yeah.
Where did you grow up? What was your childhood like?
Yeah, so I'm actually from Canyon City. I was born and raised here. My parents moved out from Iowa in 1949. I was the second oldest, 6 boys, 1 girl, affiliated with St. Michael's Catholic Church here then. My mom's only brother was a Jesuit priest.
Oh, wow.
So they had a background of Catholicism, and so we went to Catholic grade school.
So you were a perfect Catholic kid.
I was a perfect Catholic kid, altar boy. I met my wife Connie as a sophomore, and we've been together
at Canyon City High School.
So I started chasing her back then, and we've been together ever since. So it's
now was she
50 years in April. We went to Africa as our 50th wedding anniversary to each other was the photography safari in Africa.
That is awesome. So was she a good Catholic kid too?
Well, she's a good kid no matter what, but
yeah.
She was raised Catholic, and we went to the Catholic Church, and we respect a lot of the traditions. She and I were the confirmation instructors for a number of years until we were fired. But some of the kids wanted to commit their lives to Christ, but they not necessarily wanted to commit their lives to be a Catholic Christian.
Yeah.
Catholics wanted you not to profess to be a Christian, but to confirm that you would be a Catholic Christian, which I found a little confusing. When the kids weren't quite ready to do that, I thought, well, if Catholicism prevailed in their lives, that would be fine, but wouldn't it be most important first for them to commit to be Christians?
Yeah.
And followers of Christ and dedicate their life that way. And
yeah, it's interesting. Of course, I grew up Catholic.
Yeah.
And then I had my conversion experience outside of the Catholic Church. And so I spent a year or two being kind of ticked off at the church, and I've moved past that. But
I don't necessarily fight about Catholicism versus something else. I think Connie and I feel more responsibility for our personal path, and our personal path changed directions when we went to a walk to Emmaus, which I've told you before, because we celebrated the fact that there were people from all kinds of churches in the walk to Emmaus because it's non-denominational. And the whole point was a New Testament lifestyle that didn't really discuss denominations or that sort of thing, which we celebrated. We sought the common ground of the New Testament. And that was so refreshing to us that it caused us to begin to believe that we needed to change our mindset, because we were pretty convinced. And then we entered into a relationship with Joyce Meyer, as you know.
I got to tell you, I've never listened to Joyce Myers until about 3 months ago. And I know you guys are very much involved in support her ministry, but
sure.
I think it just happened to be the next YouTube and it went on by itself. And I just thought, oh my gosh, this is good. And talk about wisdom. I mean, it seems like her teaching really centers on practical stuff.
Christ came for a relationship, not a religion.
Mm-hmm.
She believes that you can go to church but not be a Christian any different than you can sit in a garage and become a car. She does come from the school of hard knocks. We just think that what she does is special, but it was the concept of trying to partner. That's what they got excited about.
Yeah, she talks very openly about her own background of divorce, before that her background of being sexually abused. Now, how old were you guys when you did the walk to Emmaus?
We just both turned 70, and so that would have been 95. And so roughly 45 years old. Well, at the Catholic Church, when, it was within walking distance of our house downtown, and I was a worship leader for 30 years in the church, 25 years.
This wasn't like when you were young. You were past middle age when you made the big change.
Yeah. Well, we're supposed to be. It's not where you start; it's where you finish, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
No, I just find it amazing. I can't help as a pastor thinking what a bummer that must have been for whoever the priest was at that time. And
Oh, I think he was grateful for us to be gone. Um, we would kibitz because I also did all the financial work for the church for free and stuff. It became clear to me that, he sort of Walk to Emmaus, by the way, is not a church. And so it tells you to go back to your church and be involved. And so we went back to our church, and he kind of thought that we were, he said, hey, look, people like you kind of come and go. You run a little hot and cold, and we're just staying close to the fundamentals. I think he was relieved.
Was it a traumatic decision for you guys? I mean, I know it seems like, especially strong Catholics, there's a sense you're betraying.
I think the path became, Alex, a little clearer for us, so that we knew the truth, or we knew the path that we needed to move, that we had grown uncomfortable enough that we knew we needed to change. That the purpose of Emmaus had to have a purpose, and the purpose was to open our eyes to a greater inclusion of people in the kingdom.
Yeah.
And so but where to land was weird, because in a small town, when you walk into another church, they're going, oh my God, here's Jeff and Connie. What are they doing here? We started an evening program for misfits. And so it was comfortable for us to be in this other church, because it wasn't as if we joined something.
Yeah.
And even when he retired some years later and we wandered over to Vineyard, that was quite uncomfortable, because, you don't necessarily want to feel like you're church hopping. Certain people wanted to go over here, and, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. It's just humans and boundaries and protecting turf, or we all go through it. And then it's interesting to think about how God works through those things as ways of stirring up the nest, as it were, make us uncomfortable, so we're willing to go to the next assignment.